The Austrian Grand Prix is up next, and unfortunately Ferrari arrives at the 4.318-kilometer Red Bull Ring in Spielberg as the fourth force behind Red Bull, McLaren, and Mercedes. The Italian side is coming from a Formula One weekend, that of Spain, in which various headaches made an appearance and hindered the overall potential of the SF-24 cars. Problems that led to a rather bland performance. Unexpected results, in short, on which the red team has worked very hard in recent days. The Montmelò weekend was not just any weekend, as the prancing horse brought a rather significant new aerodynamic update package to the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya. We are talking about a new rear wing, slimmed-down sidepods, and a revised underbody in its initial portion, as well as in the hidden area of the keel. Ferrari tested the complete package only with Carlos Sainz during the first free practice session for the Spanish Grand Prix, with the rear wing alone mounted on both SF-24 cars. During practice, some small tests were carried out on Carlos Sainz's single-seater car, even though the Maranello technicians decided not to use Flow-Viz paint or various rakes. The package produced the numbers hypothesized on paper. That famous correlation between track and simulation environment seems to really be there. The new level of downforce has greatly satisfied the Italian team, which for this reason considered the updates valid and kept them on the cars for both the qualifying session on Saturday and the race on Sunday afternoon in Barcelona. So why didn't the Ferrari updates make the expected leap in quality? Offering a straightforward answer to the question is of course not so simple, but we can undoubtedly make some considerations on the matter. When such an upgrade is brought, the various aerodynamic modifications produce a change in the pressure field around the car. This aspect, in turn, generates a different balance, as the center of pressure is subject to some small shifts. Without a doubt, various headaches related to this issue appeared in Spain. For the Italian F1 team, there was a lack of complete understanding regarding how to exploit the update. In other words, Ferrari was not able to optimize the car's setup considering the new updates. We are referring to an issue we can define as within the trackside scope, as the problem area was confined to the track. We refer to insufficient time to thoroughly test the innovations through the simulator, where the goal was to extract maximum performance through the setup. Many have talked about bouncing, which is another way of calling porpoising, even though there is no real difference between the two terms, present at certain speeds, defining it as the main cause of the unexpected performance. As far as we are concerned, we observed something else by watching every single lap of the Barcelona weekend through the onboard cameras. For Ferrari, in fact, a slight aerodynamic bouncing was present only in turn 3, turn 14, and it was certainly not greater than that of Mercedes, which, especially in the qualifying session, made a big difference from the rest of the competitors in this part of the track. Regarding turns 3 and 9 high-speed corners, porpoising was completely absent. For this reason, we prefer to talk about rear instability, derived from imperfect load due to imprecise setup by drivers and technicians. This aspect reduced the confidence of the two Ferrari drivers in the fast corners and lowered the speeds in certain sections of the Spanish circuit. This element was clearly noticeable when examining the handling and behavior of the Italian cars with precision. Finally, a few comments regarding the performance of the tires. Ferrari did not know how to use them properly in the 10th round of the 2024 Formula One World Championship, especially in qualifying. The Spanish track, due to its particular conformation, put the two SF-24 cars in difficulty, unable to exploit the correct degree of grip in the three sectors during the lap. Ferrari team principal Frédéric Vasseur himself confirmed this, although he preferred not to go into details in this case. The issue here is simple. The blanket was too short because sacrificing one part of the track to favor another automatically meant losing performance. Unfortunately, unlike Red Bull, McLaren, and even Mercedes, Ferrari was not able to achieve and especially maintain the correct operating temperatures of the tires throughout the lap. This factor, in turn, made the grip during the lap anything but optimal. For this reason, Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz tried several warm-up strategies, which, however, did not solve the issue. This problem was also suffered in the race with a lot of fuel on board, which, although to a lesser extent, still made an appearance and impacted the overall performance of the Italian F1 cars. The disappointments in Canada and Spain have somewhat deflated the motivations of Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz, but the data analysis done in the Ferrari racing division would show that the potential of the red car is higher than what was seen in the last two races. With the revised aerodynamic map, The hope is that Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz will return to fighting for important positions, starting with the next round of the 2024 Formula One Championship, the Austrian Grand Prix. The interesting fact is that with the SF-24 in its evolved version, which debuted at the Imola circuit, some small correlation problems between the wind tunnel, the simulation systems, and the track emerged. The performance progress of the red car, even with the latest update brought to Barcelona, did not deliver the results the Maranello technical staff expected in the challenge with Red Bull and McLaren. So much so that in Spain even Mercedes outpaced the Scuderia's car, suggesting that the Maranello car had dropped to fourth in strength. On Sunday evening, right after the race, we commented that the Scuderia had made development mistakes, while Fred Vasseur never doubted the quality of the evolutions. The French team principal is convinced that he will see a competitive red car at the Red Bull Ring. It is true that Austria has 3 straights connected by slow corners, and the track layout does not feature those long, fast corners where the SF-24 struggles the most. But from the debriefing of the Spanish GP yesterday morning, the necessary reassurances emerged to keep the team motivated in the work the entire racing department is carrying out in the attempt, at least, to defend the second place in the Constructors' Championship from the remarkable comeback of McLaren, which has recovered 30 points against Ferrari in the last 4 races. In Canada, as in Barcelona, the 2 Ferrari drivers seemed unable to compensate, especially in the qualifying session, for the shortcomings of a car that, with the latest update, showed the reappearance of bouncing, the jumping at high speeds, and a sudden loss of aerodynamic load that made the car unpredictable and difficult to set up. If Frederic Vasseur, after the qualifying sessions, implied that something was missing in the single lap at Montmelò, hinting that the drivers did not contribute to the potential result, the data analysis would instead show that Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz were somewhat victims of a too unpredictable red car, and that the resulting nervousness was an effect of a weekend that did not go in the right direction from the start. Ferrari, therefore, goes to Scuderia with the intention of dispelling doubts and uncertainties. The aim is to exploit the hybrid qualities of the 06612 at altitude, as the Red Bull Ring is 700 meters above sea level, without paying the aerodynamic deficit seen in Canada and Spain every time they had to climb and descend the curbs. The Austrian format reintroduces the sprint race with only 1 free practice session before the sprint qualifying, so it will be essential to put a car on track that works immediately. There cannot be an SF-24 car operating outside the correct aerodynamic map, paying a heavy price in performance. The Ferrari single-seater in the last part of the Spanish GP had more than respectable pace. It lost a couple of seconds to Max Verstappen in about 20 laps, while the remaining 20 seconds had already been accumulated before. And the same telemetry numbers ensure that there is potential to be extracted that is higher than what was actually seen in Catalunya. In the green hills of Austria, therefore, we will not see a new bolt on the red car. The attempt will be to consolidate the Spanish Grand Prix package with updates to the floor, diffuser, and sidepod design. Also, the following week, at the Silverstone appointment that will complete this triple header, more novelties should arrive. And if a line has not been drawn, there will be a risk of further losing the thread at a crucial moment of the 2024 Formula One season.